Right, that's me. That's me started now. It's just to first. There's so many people have said how much they've enjoyed the stories that you have done before.
Yes.
When you did the story about living in Crammon Street and your school and things like that. And loads of people have been wanting me to get you to do more stories. So
Yes.
I thought about asking you about your time during the war, about like so what your family did, because you had two older brothers
Right.
during the war. What did your oldest brother Jim do?
It was the RAF, he was an armourer, and the RAF loaded the bombs and
The bullets?
machine guns into the planes.
Yeah.
An armourer, that's what he was.
And where did he serve?
He served in the Middle East. That was all. And eventually he was demobbed, then joined up again, and he was sent to Japan.
But when he was when he served the first time, was he not in the Middle East or something like that?
I was in the Middle East. He was in the siege of Tobruk.
Was that with Montgomery or something like that? And
Yes, that's right.
and was it Rommel that was coming down?
Rommel was coming at them and coming both ways, from the sea and from the land. And it was a siege that were held up in Tobruk.
I think. I mean, I don't know how. You know, you're saying that he didn't say it to you, but I think he said that they were told that it was every man for himself, and they all just had to scarp her. And he said that, I don't know whether he did, but a whole lot of them swam across the Nile, or went into the Nile, or swam away,
Well,
just
I'm afraid I
trying to
don't
get away.
know that.
You don't remember that?
He said, I'm afraid not.
Don't know.
He only talked if he was really drunk. He didn't talk about it unless he was had a drink.
And he went to Japan, and what did he?
He joined up. He was demobbed.
Yeah,
He was demobbed and come home and decided to join up again. And he was sent to Japan. And he was there for a couple of years. That's all I know. We learned some Japanese words like chotamati. Really? Estremolto. He was always saying these words. These are real words.
are they?
I don't know what they mean.
Is that where you got it from then? Because you're known to say some strange words.
Oh, I know, but these are real words. These are real words. Chotamati.
And did you say that he brought a Chinese tea set back?
Tea set. A lot. You could all. It was so fine. You could see through it. And it was Chinese emblems on the side of it, on the cups and the
Aye.
plates. And it was a lot. You know, you could see the light through them. It was such a fine china.
Yeah. I don't know whether that's a would have been worth more, been more fine. I don't know whether it would have
I
been.
don't know. Well, I'm sure it must have been spent that he brought it home.
Aye.
I don't know what became of it.
Aye.
I can imagine my oldest sister Grace, she took a lot of things, ancient things that my mother had. My mother used to have two shelves on the against the wall.
Aye.
And on the middle of that was a big jelly pan and two golden candlesticks. And then she had a whole lot of glass objects she had collected.
Yeah.
But Grace claimed Grace was quite a girl. She grabbed them all. So Grace.
It was when your mum passed away that she.
Yes, that's when they were breaking up the house.
Yeah.
Grace took all these things.
Yeah. So we don't
Grace
know.
was like that. Oh, she was very much like that.
Yeah.
She had a lot of special things that she had saved. She had two Wally Dugs, but I don't know what came of that. You wouldn't know.
Aye. I know what Wally Dogs are. But and what about John, your younger brother? What was it that he did?
John was the Royal Engineers, which seemed a contradiction because John was a grocer. And when he got called up to the army, they put him into the Royal Engineers.
Yeah.
And he ended up building bridges. That was his job. Building bridges and bridges across rivers.
Was it Bailey Bridges?
Daily bridges, that's right. He was involved in that, up in the water. And I reckon that's where he died when he was 29 because he had TB.
Yeah.
And I reckon he'd got something with being in the water all the time.
Maybe it wasn't so good for his lungs or something like that.
As a matter of fact, it was claimed for disablement, I forget what it was called, for being discharged out of the army. And to fight for that to get compensation.
Yeah. At the time, so
He got it. He got compensation.
I know.
He was getting a pension till he died when he was 29.
Yeah, but
he never recovered. He never got over it.
Over that. But when he was in the war, there was some situation that he was in that you told me
The
about.
crossing of the Rhine.
Aye.
Where they were making the final push into Germany. That to cross the Rhine. I don't know where they actually were. It must have been in France or somewhere.
Aye.
And they were trying to make the way, and they were sending out boats across, and we're all waiting their turn to go.
So they sending like a boat with two in it to go across.
There was, well, I don't know about two in it. I don't know how many were in them. I can't say that.
Yeah.
But they were sending them across there, and it kept getting shot down. And it kept, John, my brother, telling me the story. As a matter of fact, we were up in Cathkin Braes at night.
Yeah.
A lovely night, and he took me up to Cathkin Braes, and he was heartbroken because he had fallen in love with a German girl, and he actually lived with her, Gerda, and he wanted to bring her home. But we only lived in a room and kitchen in a big family, and he couldn't bring her home. But he never got over that. And he died when he was 29.
That is quite sad.
He was at the crossing of the Rhine, and they kept sending the boats across, and they kept getting killed, and to stop it, to find another way to make inroads into Germany.
But it was nearly his turn to go.
It was coming his turn to go.
And they
That's
stopped
what he told me. We're sitting up, I remember him telling me, we're up in Cathkin Braes, went up there for the night, and we sat and it got dark, and we sat in Cathkin Braes. You know where that is? You know where
I know what Cathkin Braes, because you used to take us to Cathkin Braes
right.
on a 22 bus from Easterhouse.
That's the way
We
you
would go
That's
up to through Castlemilk and
That's
through
it.
Kilmarnock.
So the two of us went up there and we sat there, because I was very close to John. John and I were very close together. And he told me all about that when he thought he was going to be killed. Then he lived with this girl, and he wanted to bring her home. But our family were all in a room and kitchen, and the family were still there. Nellie was still there, and Kathy and Grace were still there.
Yeah.
But no one was in the room.
Yeah.
So he couldn't bring her home, and he never got her home.
It would have been quite sad.
And he never recovered. He died when he was 29.
Because there was quite a few people that brought German wives.
Oh,
Home.
oh yes. There was a name for them at that time. There was a name for them. They brought that many German wives home. The John would have done, but there was no way he could have. There was no housing in it. Housing was terrible.
But when you're talking about the British bringing Germans home as their wives, there was also the Americans that were here that were taking the Scottish women home to be their wives.
That's true as well. Oh, that's true. There was a woman, Allan lived in Postle Park, and she met an American,
Yeah.
and they got married. And he took her away back to America with him. Oh, that wouldn't have been uncommon.
Aye.
There were loads of Americans, all the lasses used to go up parading along Circuit Hall Street to try to get an American airman. I think they thought they were getting film stars because they were American. No, really, I'm sure that's what it was. They're all down here. The Americans came, wherever they were stationed, I don't know where, but they come into Circuit Hall Street and went to the Locarno dance hall. And the Locarno hall was always chock a lot of lassies looking for an American. And it was quite, I know one, as I told you, I don't remember the lassie's name, I actually married one, but she stayed up in Ellen's Close in Burlock Street and married a guy and went away to America a long time ago.
But that was, I mean, the Americans, did they not used to do a good business in tights or stockings or something like that? the Americans, did they not used to have plenty of cigarettes and
Oh, they were well dressed, and they were well paid.
and they had stockings. They used to give the girls stockings.
That's right. Oh, the Americans they were like film stars in the way they compared to Britain. Their uniforms were lovely, beautiful. The Scottish forms, the British forms are rough,
Aye.
coarse
Material. Yeah.
These were lovely, and they were very high paid. The soldiers they were like top businessmen.
Aye. The way they paraded about.
The way they were dressed, the money they had, and all that.
It's quite interesting, isn't it? You know, the contrast in...
the contrast with the Scottish soldiers. Oh, aye, no doubt about that.
But what did Cathy... I mean, Cathy would be something like 103 or something just now.
Yes.
She was a good bit older than you.
Yeah.
But she worked in factories or something, did you know it?
Musician in munitions. And she was an expert.
I remember at her funeral you'd said that she got awards for her production of bullets or something like that.
That's right. She was an expert at it, and she got awards because she was so good. She brought some things home that she made, that she was so good at it. She was so skillful at the things she made
Yeah.
to help the war effort. I can't remember what they were, but why she was highly commended in what she was doing. She was a clever girl, that enough, Cathy.
But did she lose her fiance in the war?
Not with the war, no.
No. Was it Nellie, your other sister? Did she have?
Nellie had a boyfriend who was a Canadian,
Yeah.
and I think he was killed. She brought him home to the house,
Yeah.
and I remember we didn't know what to do with him because there was nowhere to live. The house was packed, and I remember getting his dinner. I remember he took his dinner with a fork. He didn't use a knife and fork. I always remember that. He used his fork all the time. And he was dead quiet. Oh, murderous to get him to talk. And Nellie was all over him, but I don't know, he went way back to America. Nothing came of that, you know.
But I think was that one that got killed because there was two. She had two boyfriends. I don't know how keen she was on them, but there was one was a Welshman, and he got killed. He used to write to her.
That was she had a Welshman. That's right. The other guy was a Canadian or American.
Yeah.
I remember him getting his dinner in our house and
just using the fork.
Using the fork. He used the fork. Right.
And what about Grace, who was? I mean, that was Grace that you said she took all the things that your mum had in the house, but she just died. Was it 2 years ago she died, and she was 100. She was 100. She died on her 100th birthday.
That's right. On the very day. She was 100.
She got her.
She was born in 1919.
All right, 1919.
So it must have been
2 years ago, coming up.
Ago.
And she got her telegram and died.
That's right. She died the same day.
Same day. But what did she do during the war?
Grace was a machinist. Well, her job was a machinist. Cathy and Grace got jobs in a cooperative. You wouldn't know this. A cooperative was a big organisation.
Aye.
And they owned this place where they had their own workers producing all the stuff.
Was it at Shield Hall? Shield Hall.
Mm-hmm. And Grace was a machinist. Cathy worked with shoes, making shoes.
Yep.
And Grace made, because she was a machinist.
Yep.
Sewing machines. I don't know what she actually made. I remember going up once with her husband, Bill. He used to take, I was off school. I had the pleurisy. And he took me in his car because I was off school. He drove a van called Dunlop's, and they used to deliver lard and butter and margarine and things like that to all the shops.
Yeah.
And he took me, because I was off school, he took me with him, and it was great. I would with him all day, and then he would go to this place in Mary Hill that you could go and get hot water, and he had his own can for tea.
Yep.
So it would go in, when it was time to him to stop, and his lorry, he would pull a harp across the window, it would make it like a wee room. And he'd go in with his cans and make tea, and the two of us would have tea and something in this. And really, that's exactly what happened. I don't know, I think I went off, my health, I was off school a lot with pleurisy, and I was a delicate kind of boy. I don't know that I had TB as young as that, but I had pleurisy 2 times. And he took me in his motor, delivering, as I say, lard and butter and eggs and all that.
Do you remember where you went to when you were delivering it?
Well, all the different shops. Oh, it was Cochrane's and Galbraith's and Cooperative.
Yeah.
It was all the shops we delivered it.
But whereabouts were the shops?
Oh, I wouldn't be, see, I was too young, I wouldn't be conversant with all the different areas. I don't know. It was all around Glasgow.
Yeah. And you don't remember what kind of van it was? Was it a
I remember. So it was written on it, J something Dunlop. And it was lovely painted. But I don't know, it was just a lorry, just a lorry with
Aye.
a lot of room in the back.
Yeah.
Can't tell you any more now.
Well, what did Bill himself, was it during the war? Was he not
He
in
was in the
the
RAF.
RAF as well?
He was called up and was in the RAF.
What did he do? Do you remember?
No, I don't know what he did. I don't know about him.
Was he older than Grace?
No, he wasn't. He was younger. He was a wee bit younger than Grace.
Right. But he ended up being he was a taxi driver in Glasgow, wasn't he?
He had his own taxi. He had his own taxi.
Aye, Bill Matheson, his name was, wasn't it?
His name was, that's right.
And he had his own, because I remember they lived in Baillieston.
Aye, that was when he got married.
Aye, just
He lived in Bridgeton. When he was going with her, Nick Grace, he lived in Bridgeton.
Right. But remember when we stayed in Easterhouse and they moved up and they moved into houses that you could see near from Swinton, you could look over the back down into where their house was.
Aye, because Grace had a shop there.
Aye, she had the haberdashery shop
That's right.
in Baillieston.
Grace was a smart girl, a smart woman. She was right on top of the job. So was Kathy when it comes to that.
Aye. So I'm just about going to finish this because there's a time, it's about 17 minutes or something like that you've been speaking. So you can say cheerio.
I can say, well, very happy to speak to you. You can call again sometime. Bye bye the new.